Hey there guys, listen, I'm headed to the office today and I was just thinking about something. Are you a woman who's married to a man that you believe is a narcissist? Or what about emotional disconnection? Is he disconnected emotionally? Does he show no empathy? Let's talk about this today. Let's find out perhaps what's going on. Join me right now. Talk about narcissism or narcissistic men as well as emotional disconnected males. Now before we go into that, I want you to do me a favor. Please subscribe right down there to this channel. We love our subscribers. We consider you part of what we're doing to help people achieve their full potential in life. If you do that, that would really bless us, as well as potentially share this video with family, friends, loved ones, what have you. And if you like the video at the end, why don't you go ahead and give us the thumbs up. And if you have any comments, we always like to engage with our audience. So we're going to talk about narcissistic men as well as emotionally disconnected males. Now the reason that I'm doing this video is because, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing deliverance ministry for a very long time. I have been coaching for quite some time now, life coaching, narcissism coaching, transformation coaching, among other things. And, we've been pretty successful in helping people. Whether you're someone that has gone through abuse, perhaps, perhaps you're codependent or lean towards that particular area, or even if you're listening, if you're more on the narcissism or narcissistic scale, then again, we look forward to talking to you today. We've been very successful in helping both sides of that. Some people believe that a narcissist cannot change, cannot be healed. That's not necessarily true. Now I know right now that just by saying that, let me qualify that. By me saying that, some people have difficulty hearing that. I've seen a lot of different videos, YouTube videos, a lot of people saying, hey, if you're connected to a narcissist, then you need to run. Just run, just pack up, go. There's no chance for him, he's doomed. I've heard people say that a narcissist is Satan incarnate. I've heard them say that they have no souls. Well, I believe that a lot of people say that because of the hurt, the pain, the wounds. I get that, the trauma that they've experienced. But there are some who are narcissistic, or technically a narcissist, that have been healed, that have been delivered. So I believe with God, all things are possible. Hey, if you don't believe that, then this video is probably not for you. The things when people come to us, and specifically we'll have people come to us and they'll say, my spouse, my partner, my boyfriend, my husband, what have you, is a narcissist. And we're kind of cautious on that because, first off, I'm not a psychiatrist. I cannot clinically diagnose someone as a narcissist. But let's find out, is the husband or the partner, the spouse, are they a narcissist? Or perhaps they are a male that suffers from emotional disconnection, and there's a difference. There's some similarities, but the way that we handle it is much different. So let's first off talk about someone who is the classic narcissist. Now I have, in my possession, I've had this for many years. This is the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Now I have the 4th edition with the various revisions in it, but I want to just real quickly, when we talk about a narcissist, let's look at the diagnostic criteria for 301.81, which is narcissistic personality disorder. So, and I'm just going to read this to kind of help you out, and stay with me, bear with me as we get through this video. I believe it's going to help you to understand some things, okay? It says here that It is a pervasive pattern of grandiosity in fantasy or behavior, the need for admiration, and lack of empathy. Okay, beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. So listen very clearly. Okay, there's going to be 9 of these things. Okay, number 1, has a grandiose sense of self-importance. For example, exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. Number 2, is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. Number 3, believes that he or she is, quote, special, unquote, and unique, and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institution. Number 4, requires excessive admiration. Number 5, has a sense of entitlement. For example, unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations. Number 6, is interpersonally exploitative. For example, takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends. Number 7, lacks empathy and is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. Number 8, is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. And lastly, number 9, shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. So what this manual, again, this is of mental disorder. If you see here, it takes 5. So if the person that you're with, again, perhaps it's a parent, you're now, a grown adult yourself, but maybe your parents, you say, my dad was a narcissist, my mother was a narcissist. Well, remember, clinically, they would need to have 5 or more of these things. Now, I agree that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of men specifically, that do lack empathy. It's not always men, but I'm trying to help some people where we largely have people coming to us, talking about their husband lacks empathy, shows no love, and we understand that, and we're here to help, and we do help. We coach people through that. Okay, so there are people that, perhaps it's your husband, okay, who lacks empathy and is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others, which in this case would be you. So we have to kind of look at this thing and say, all right, is this a situation where the person is a narcissist, where they can go and receive a clinical diagnosis of being a narcissist, or is this a situation where they have narcissistic characteristics? Now, don't get me wrong, whether a clinically diagnosed narcissist or someone who displays or has narcissistic characteristics like no empathy, they can be very dangerous to connect with, and can really mess you up. Okay, because again, there's a lot of different features, there's a lot of different things going on, both in the person who is narcissistic, as well as the person who is perhaps codependent. They may have narcissistic characteristics, traits, or behaviors. We're not going to deny that. That is a fact. But that still doesn't make them a narcissist. As a matter of fact, if you look, I think statistically, the numbers of people clinically diagnosed as a narcissist is a very low number. Now again, that does not negate the fact that there is tremendous danger if you are married to someone who is narcissistic, okay? Whether they have 1, 2, or 3 of these features, again, it doesn't mean that they're a narcissist. So we're very careful here in our coaching, in helping people in life and relationships. We stay away from labeling. What we look to do is find out why a person behaves the way they do. What is going on? And we look to get to the root. Because if we can get to the root of the matter, then we can help people or position people to where they can begin to make the decision to change their life, renew their mind, and remove some of these strongholds that exist. Now, that's narcissism out of the DSM. Okay, and I don't want to go too much more into that. What I really want to do is talk about emotionally disconnected males. Emotionally disconnected males. So, in our experience, and I can relate to it just being a male myself and growing up and developing into a mature man, and I'm still doing that. I'm still working on me, as we all should be doing. By and large, most men that I talk to, and if you're listening to me, and this is you, Mr. Man, male, okay, Mr. Husband, you probably suffer more from emotionally disconnected, or the emotionally disconnected male, than being a narcissist. Okay, I have a lot of men that come to me and say, "Hey, my wife said I'm a narcissist. I need to find out what's going on. I want to change." Well, that right there, I want to change, is something that tells us that, usually a narcissist doesn't want to change. It's not that they can't. Granted, the numbers are very low, but somebody says, "Hey, I need to see what's going on. I don't like this. I don't like this about me. I don't like this. It's affecting my relationship with my wife, my family, my children, society, what have you." In many cases, they're emotionally disconnected. So emotionally disconnected males, and I want to give hope to some of you ladies out there, you wives, who you love your husband. You genuinely love your husband, but yeah, he's been toxic. Okay, showing no empathy, no love, no attention. He wants it all about himself. Doesn't care for you. I feel you. I got that. I understand. But it's probably because he doesn't know how to love. He doesn't know how to engage his own emotions, because he came from a family that was most likely dysfunctional. They had some toxic behaviors. In many cases, if the relationship and the bonding between the son and the mother, especially when the son is going through like adolescence into teenage years, if that isn't a strong, healthy relationship where the mother is able to, certainly if the mother wasn't emotionally stable herself, then the son is going to really have difficulty exploring as well as demonstrating and articulating, manifesting healthy emotions. So usually we say, sons are now men, grown men had mommy problems, is what they had. So we talk about that, and again, I experienced that, and we help others in that area. But most men, if they've gone through things in life, whether a death of a loved one, divorce of a family member, perhaps sickness, perhaps a Jezebelic or narcissistic type of parent, either the father or the mother, but let's just say it's the mother and she's very dramatic, very controlling, that's going to affect the son, and that son now is your husband, okay? But that emotion within can be blocked, okay? We use a term here called arrested development, or better yet, call it arrested emotional development. And this is where the brain becomes fixated, or the brain becomes frozen in the area of releasing the chemicals as it pertains to things that occurred in life, like some trauma. And if you don't have healthy parents to get you through trauma, then as a child, as a young boy, emotionally you can create walls, because trauma hurts. Okay, and if we don't get through it, we can create a wall. If we've been abused, if we've been laughed at, if we've been scorned, if we've been rejected, if we've been molested, if there's been verbal abuse or physical abuse or emotional abuse from our family of origin, then as a male, as a little boy, we create walls because we don't want to go through the hurt. We don't want the hurt. And we have difficulty later on in life expressing our emotions. We can't express ourselves openly and emotionally. I'll give you a good example. So when I married my wife when I was 21. Okay, my wife is 5 years older than me, and she was married at the time, well actually not at the time, but she was married previously to what we would classify today as a nuclear narcissist, and she had 3 children from this marriage. So I come in, now I was a rejected, low self-esteem, introvert, inferior. I came from a family who loved me, but they really didn't provide the affirmation and validation that I needed. My dad died when I was 7. My brother died when I was 6, tragically. And that hurt and that pain, that experience, that event had me internally, nobody else did this, I did this, create walls to where I just didn't want to get close to people. So later on in life, when I married my wife, one of the things she asked me, this isn't about sex. Sex was good. That wasn't the issue. Okay? It was about emotionally connecting. And she said, why don't you like to hug? Later on, I had, when I had kids, and of course she had 3 kids from previous, it was, why don't you hug the kids? Why don't you kiss the kids? I didn't cry. I didn't show my emotions. It wasn't that I didn't have any. They were there, but I suppressed them. This is what we refer to as emotionally disconnected males. And listen, ladies, you may have this type of man in your life. There is hope for him. Now, you are a big part to play in his deliverance and his recovery and his journey to be the greatest man that he can be and love you the way Christ loved the church and give himself for you. He just doesn't know how. So what we do is we take these men into our coaching program and we discuss this. We get them to understand, listen, there's a reason why you behave the way you do. There's a reason why you're getting the results you're getting in your life. And there's a reason why your wife is having difficulty and wants to, get away from you because of your behavior. But we help them to understand just exactly where this came from and what they can do to restart the emotional growing process in that area. Yes, there are times where you need to just get out. Okay? If you're being abused, get out. There is no excuse for that. If you're being abused physically, if you're being threatened, okay, of physical abuse, or you're being tortured, even mentally, then yeah, I would say it would be a good case to separate. Get out. You have to protect yourself as well as your children. I get that. Okay? But perhaps, just perhaps, not always, but perhaps, your spouse is suffering more from emotional disconnection. He just doesn't know how to love you. I mean, at the end of the day, who taught us how to love? Huh? Think about it. Who taught us how to love? You think it just is something that we just one day flip a switch and say, oh, I know how to love. I know how to connect. No. The family of origin, our background, generations before that, all of this, society, has an impact of what is deposited into our subconscious. So there is hope. There is hope. And I always say it this way. If somebody is teachable, they're salvageable. Okay? If someone is teachable, they are salvageable. So if your husband, if your boyfriend, if your significant other, or the one that you are thinking about marrying, displays lack of empathy, doesn't really connect, doesn't show emotions, doesn't open up, doesn't, look in your eyes and want to deposit his life into you and love you and hear from you on what you want in life, okay, then that's probably emotional disconnection, okay? Now, could it be narcissism? Well, yeah, I would say probably characteristics of it, but are they always a narcissist? No, not according to the professionals. Not according to the professionals. Okay, so you have to be careful. Again, you have to be careful that you just quickly jump on a video or whatever and say, oh, there it is, my husband's a narcissist. He may well be, but he may well not be, and it's something else. So allow us to help you. Check out our website. Go to icanadvance.com, or you can go to Summers Ministries and click on our coaching. Find out the different lanes of coaching we have. Set up an appointment, okay? Let's talk about it. Let's come up with a strategy. Let us tell you what our program consists of. Be consistent in getting what you need. Get the deliverance, get the treatment, get the therapy, and allow yourself and your husband, your wife, allow yourself to get healed. Then you can begin to build on that relationship, and both of you can achieve your full potential life. Well, listen, I hope this video helped you. Again, there's much more to talk about. Don't focus in on one video and say, well, I disagree, whatever. This is one video. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. Again, go to the website, icanadvance.com. Check out what we're doing here. Look forward to talking to you. Again, subscribe. Give it the thumbs up if you like it. Share it. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And have a wonderful, wonderful journey in life. God bless you.